Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns newsstands. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Enjoying Orange Slices. The summer break is over. Jeff has 3, maybe 2, maybe 6 new tires. I am back in California, and we got the Millard. The Millard is on the show. Hope everybody's having a great summer. Guys, how are you guys? Where are you guys? Okay, then. Nobody answered.
This is just like you texting us something, expecting a response. You guys get all heated before we came on the air. We don't.
You guys, I'm going to tell the people right now. I send them fantastic text messages, and they don't respond. And then I hear from them 3 days later. What day is Wednesday?
That's a Sharplesism.
No, that what you gotta. Okay, I love that. I didn't need to respond to it because I knew where he was going with it. I love it. So. Do I have to tell this story again right now? Should I?
Probably.
Tell it?
I get that from Sharples.
So when we go on the ice with the kids, like if it's not a practice, if it's just a private skate or a lesson, what happens is I always try and get Millard out there as much as I can because the kids love him and he does a great job, and it's fun for both of us. We have a good time with it. So I just say, "Hey, Millard," I try and give him a heads up because I know he's a real busy guy. I usually try and let everybody know if there's ice the week before. So usually Friday for Monday or Tuesday, I go, hey, Then I text them and I go, hey, Millard, are you able to make it I'll text him Sunday tomorrow. And then in brackets, I put Monday. And he goes, why do you always do that? And I said,
is that why that was? I didn't know that. That's why that was.
So because what's happened to me in the past is I've said, I'll see you tomorrow to text to some of the parents, and I get back Monday. So
from the
I
parents.
always send tomorrow and then the next day, whatever it is. So see you tomorrow, Monday, or, in brackets Monday, or see you tomorrow in brackets Tuesday. So he got all hot at me for it. And then I explained to why I do it. And then he was very appreciative.
Mallard's one of the
extra care.
He's one of the nicest guys, but he's got a zone that you go into, and you don't want to fly over that. It's a no-fly zone, and once you're in that no-fly zone, expect missiles.
If it's not happening, and I don't want to miss out if I'm wrong. So it actually does help. As simple as it is, as goofy as it is, putting tomorrow and then the day is helpful. Works. Now you could just say Tuesday all the time, but that would get
or the date, like the 15th.
Yeah, I tried that too, but
then I'd have to look at my calendar.
Yeah, I think you know what, it's good. So because I got it multiple times from parents. See you tomorrow, Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday, so I just put it in there as a little safety net. And
especially if you're sending texts late at night, like at 11 o'clock or 10:30, and you say, I'll see you tomorrow. Does that mean the next day, or does that mean like 2 days from now? Because most people aren't opening that. They're opening it the next day. So they're thinking, is this tomorrow or is that today?
Sorry, I missed it.
We're getting the days of the week straightened out now, but I'm not normally.
Welcome to the calendar show.
Yes. You know what we're going to have to get this year? We're going to have to get the Advent calendars. I'm going to get you guys Advent calendars for Christmas.
Oh, goodness.
Those are the best. Those are the best calendars.
Where's the place that has the wine? There's a place that has wine and Advent calendars. So you get a new bottle of wine for every day of December. It's just pretty good.
That's going to be some heavy nails to put on the wall.
Oh, yeah, but it's light at the end. It's light at the end, and you're just leaning against the wall.
The Advent
Merry Christmas.
You'd have some really good days, and then you'd have some terrible days. The terrible one, like just where that they're just filling in with whatever they've got around the house for treats. It's like, oh, that is awful.
Yeah.
You know what? That's the calendar Advent with the beer or the wine in it. That's like, it sounds like a good idea at the time, but I think everybody probably prefers chocolate. They want to have a drink. They'll go figure out another way to have one.
You speak for yourself.
Oh, Jeff says no to alcohol and yes
Says-
to chocolate.
Says the guy. What do you drink normally when we go out? You always drink
The Heine Zeros.
Heine Zeros, Heineken Zeros. So
I discovered Blue Moon Zeros. They are really good.
yeah. So
Like
that's for you.
non-alcoholic. What? Why is that? Because you're driving, or do you not drink?
I don't drink.
You don't drink?
No,
Not at all.
no. Stopped about 7 years ago, and I want to go back, and I can't force myself to go back. I really want to go back, especially parenting.
It is. I don't drink for the most part, but everyone, like, I'll drink this week. So I have shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Sunday after the show I'll have some drinks because we have a full week off and we're in Virginia. So I'll have some drinks, but when I'm working, I don't.
So you don't get drunk before you go on stage?
What's that?
You don't drink
Sunday.
before you go on stage?
No, it gets.
Why don't you explain that? Because I like Lord Bagg's thinking on this, and I think it probably some people like to have a little snap up there before they go on stage,
Yeah.
where they're
Liquid courage.
or in a rock band. You don't get the blood pumping. But I like Lord Bagg's answer to why he doesn't, and I think it's.
I find the day after is weaker. So, like, yeah, the one show maybe have a little bit of a snap to it, but the next show is the recovery is slower, so they don't get the full thing. So I'd rather everybody got the full thing. So full Monty.
It's more about the performance the next day.
No, it's about the recovery. I don't recover well, and everything after that is affected for a couple days. So life isn't, especially with traveling, life isn't as fun. So, and there's a chance I'm going to get mad at the crowd.
Not as mad as you get at us for not texting you back, but
I have a meltdown. I went to bed early.
I thought you said you weren't as good during the show, but it's more of a recovery thing now.
Yeah, it's the next day. Well, who knows? I might be horrible during the first show, but I'm hammered, so I don't know. It's one of those things where I think I'm fantastic, but it's just like a Homer Simpson lifting weights kind of thing.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Hey,
So
guys,
how many drinks would affect the next day for you?
probably 3.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't drink, I don't have any sort of tolerance.
I think I could
So-
have 3 during this podcast and be okay.
Would probably help make it.
I bet you since you said you have not drank in 7 years.
No, I've had done shots at like special occasions where we'll go around the table having a toast and
Just
do
a
a shot.
second.
I know.
I don't
It
drink
doesn't
anymore, but
it doesn't make any sense. But like we've got this
Give me
tradition
a
at Thanksgiving.
shot and a 0 Heineken.
We have this tradition around Thanksgiving. Blame Shane Knighty for this, the former NHL defenseman, where we'll have a toast to what we're thankful for, and we'll do a shot of whatever you think, Crown Royal or whatever. But I'll do one of those. I'll have a couple of sips of wine, but I don't like have multiple.
I'm going after one shot like that. You get that warmth. You get that warmth going.
It's so good. My wife's always looking at me going, "Is this the day? Is this the day?"
This is where are the wheels coming off?
Yeah.
Where are the wheels coming off?
I'm sure Shane would be thrilled to know that he introduced him as the former NHL defenseman, not the color commentator for the Vegas Golden Knights, or you see him on TNT too from time to time. But that's kind of your role, though. I guess you kind of introduce people, and you always have a little stick to put in there. If you'd have just said Shane, I
How
think
is that a stick? I'm calling him a former NHLer. Oh,
Yeah,
he was
Shtick.
actually nervous when he first gave me. He passed me by the first time we did the shots, and I'm like, "Hey, get that back here."
Yeah,
So
I don't
Crown
drink,
Royal.
but
Get
drink.
that baby back here.
Oh man,
so
baby back ribs.
hey, what talking? Oh, go ahead, Lord Beck.
No, I was just going to bring up the last time I seen you both was
You were on
2 weeks
fire.
ago in Vegas. We had a good time, and I don't know if you know what happened afterwards, Melly. We
No.
we blew a tire, and we sat in a parking lot trying to figure out how to change the tire. We
Yeah.
called one place to fix the tire. They were going to be there in 90 minutes. We seen a guy washing his car from AAA.
Seriously?
We asked him if he'd change our tire. He changed our tire. It gets even better. It gets even better. You know what he said at the end? He goes, "Are you two twins?"
No way.
Yeah.
No way. That is the
I
best.
don't know if he's walking away to let the dog out, or that made his life, because he knew he thought somehow I'd be offended by it. But like, here we are standing there.
fucking loved it.
But
Oh,
there's
so
a
good.
picture with both of us with our hands on our hips. And most of the reason we haven't done a podcast in 2 weeks is because we're trying to come to terms with not being able to figure out how to find the stuff to fix a flat tire like we would have when we were younger. But yeah, so the guy was awesome.
Can I
Yeah,
walk
he was
through this
awesome.
with you? I have a bunch of questions.
Yes.
Okay.
When anybody says something like that, are you two twins? One person is always flattered, one person is offended. Which one was which?
I was lying on the ground laughing so
Yeah.
hard. I was loving it. It was the best day ever for me. I was
So
just
you were
like,
flattered.
yeah. I said to my mom, I said the guy that changed our tires thought he asked if we were twins, and my mom said, because you were both useless.
Oh, that's a good one.
Now you know where he gets it from. Yeah. No,
it was
we were standing around by the boot barn. Oh my gosh.
So you've been looked at beside a former national hockey leaguer,
Yeah.
and somebody said,
Yeah.
"Are you his twin?"
Yeah,
That is a compliment.
But I also think he was thinking more Danny DeVito and
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And
Well,
let me
which
say
one
it,
was
I
which there?
Oh,
Which
yeah,
one's
well,
Schwarzenegger?
we were both Danny at the time. We're older.
Yeah, no.
How did you take this, Sharples?
Very, very well, because I was sitting there, just couldn't. I took one on the chin that night when we got the flat tire, and I sat. All I could do is call roadside assistance instead of just popping out and getting the jack out of the back of the truck. I was looking through the manual to see where it all was, and we used to. So I was sitting there going, you know what, Ian and I, if that would have happened back home, they would have dusted us for sure. They would have been like, you know what, you two need to get your butts kicked, because it was pretty sad.
Was Michelle there?
Yep.
It was
She must
it
have
was
been
great.
impressed with you.
Taking pictures, right?
I looked up like what we needed to do on YouTube, because I'm one of those guys that looks everything up on YouTube and watches it on YouTube. So I'm watching all these videos trying to figure out how to, like, what we need to do for the Raptor, right? He's all mad at me. Well, you're just over there watching fucking videos. He thinks I'm watching TV.
Well,
I spent some.
I'm pretty
You've
sure
seen it.
I'm with him on that one. Like, that would have
Yeah,
been my
but
first reaction too.
I was the guy that figured out what we needed and where to get.
He's over there like
I don't know.
this. He's got the thing, and it's about half an inch from his face, and I'm like, is he over there telling someone where to go online right now? Like, is he answering some hate mail, or is he thanking people for coming to a show? I'm like, what's he doing? And I'm fumbling through the owner's manual.
Useless. Owner's manual is useless.
Oh my God, yeah. And so we had
this is
the
a big
argument
truck.
about that.
This is a Raptor,
dude. Yeah, it's the Raptor. And
but
let me tell you.
we
Let
can
me tell you.
still change tires.
Oh, yeah, but so everything's hidden now. So you have to find everything to take it apart. Well, first of all, the key to the where to get the jack out is hidden in the key fob, right? And if you don't know that, and the only reason I know that is because I dealt with it, right? So I know the keys and Jeff's like, I don't know where the fuck this thing is, right? And I'm just like, it's in here. Now we have to unlock a piece on the license plate to get in there to lower the spare tire. Now we got to find the jack. Where is the jack? Well, it's different on this year to that year. So you got to figure out which side of the truck it's on. It's just like, it's this game. You're like, nope, let's pay somebody $100 and let's get out of here. So it was fantastic.
There's no explaining it away because there's people out there going, you two are so useless. And I'm like, you just gotta take that one on the chin.
No,
I represent them.
Ian,
you know.
in fairness, no, Lord Bagg, in fairness, did a great job. But the best thing he did is went for a walk, because the area that we pulled off in, I thought was actually much better than it is.
He's like,
it's very busy over there. Let's just put it that way. There's a lot going on.
If you need heroin, we know where to get it.
It's like,
did he meet any friends?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's people wandering around all over the
If
place.
you need a female hero in your movie, we know where to get it.
Really?
Yeah.
Heroin.
There was people. So Lord Bagg goes for a walk, and the guy's getting off his shift in the AAA. And I will agree with Lord Bagg, because when I went to go get the new tire the next day at the Ford dealership, the guy in the service department goes, "Hey, where's the key to unlock? We have to unlock, and lower the flat tire, the thing down for the spare
holder
again." And I said, "Oh, it's right here."
Hold on,
the guy at the dealership was like, "Where is it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a game until you know."
Oh, that was to put the spare back in.
Yeah,
place.
So we took the spare off, and I had to get another spare underneath. So the
What's
other
a-
tire was shredded.
What's a new tire worth for that thing?
Oof.
Those are between at Costco it's about $375, and at Ford it's about $430. So I mean, I went to Ford because Costco didn't have any. So let's just say over $400 most places.
I have to bring up, it's interesting on the newer vehicles, right? So everything's streamlined, everything's aerodynamic, everything's put away. But if you don't know, it is a difficult process. Like in the old days, in the older times, you just go into the trunk, you undid one bolt and you pulled out a jack and a tire. Well, that's not happening now. You're going 4 different places and they're all sealed in, so the vehicle gets better mileage or whatever reason it's there. But it's I don't know, when was the last time you changed a tire, Millard?
Probably 7 months ago.
I thought you were going to say 7 years ago when you started drinking.
No. I'm actually, I've actually become pretty good at it. What my twin brother, I actually do have a twin, and we don't look. He's 9 minutes older, and he gave me the best advice was to loosen the lug nuts while the car is on the ground.
Absolutely.
I never would have thought that the first time I changed a tire, and I always thought that there should be a course, or all fathers or mothers should teach their children how to change a tire.
Well, I think how they teach them now is just to make sure they call roadside assistance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, Ian's right though. And Mallard, next time I see you next week, I'll show you. Everything didn't quite get put back in the truck behind the seat. I was looking back there, and there's a piece of foam that the jack's supposed to sit in, and there's one other piece there. And I'm like, okay, I'll get to that.
It's like folding a map back up. Well, people won't know what that means either. But the old days, trying to fold up a map was impossible.
Yeah.
Was there another piece of foam? Because I thought I got them all.
No, there's one piece. I'll maybe take a picture and send it to Brian.
Yeah, take a picture.
Show. But we started off that night, it was great, because the first thing that happened is what kind of precipitated all this was Lord Bagg coming to town for a function, and we started off with a lost phone, and then we ended up in someone's room before the green room, and it just kind of
green room was somebody else's
comedy
room.
The comedy of errors and the fun just kept going. And we were going to one of our favorite places where I went last night, Bootlegger Restaurant which you guys know very well.
Yeah.
Lord Bagg, have you ever been to the?
Never been.
No, Mallard. We went with Mallard. It's awesome. So we were on our way to Bootlegger, and then we got a flat tire, and that was the end of that. So,
what's interesting about that as well is you guys had always told me it's a 24-hour place. It's always open, right? Right. But in the last couple of weeks, I've found so many places are not 24 hours since COVID, and they just didn't go back to being 24 hours. It's a
Not
better
in a
money
row,
make.
right?
Yeah, not in a row. Yeah, like just 24 hours a week.
Yeah.
That's all they do. Yeah, yeah.
I would like that.
That's the best bit. You just have to kind of take your luck. But I was at a place in San Antonio, and the same thing. We were going to go down there after the show because they have a shrine to Selena. So I wanted to go do some vlogging down there. I wanted to go rub the butt cheeks of Selena. That's all it is. It's just two butt cheeks on a wall. But but it was closed.
Sharple and I don't know how to react to this.
I know, I love it.
We don't want to be offensive by supporting it, but we're
You're both holding on to your jobs for dear life.
Yeah.
No, it's great because all I could think about when you're talking about that is Cab.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Hey, why do you tell that story to Cab? Good thing she doesn't listen to our podcast. She'd rip you.
She ripped me. So, but it used to be 24 hours. It now closes at 8:45 at night.
8:45.
Yeah, and I was like 8:45. They're like, yeah, we like to make sure people, make their reservations beforehand. I'm like, what? That's crazy.
What did you ask? Why 8:45?
Yeah, they're trying to, because they know they won't be getting out of there until 9:30 or something like that. So they shut it down at 8:45.
So that's the last seating.
They don't take any seatings past 8:45.
Very random time.
They have to clean the Selena butt cheeks by 9 p.m.
Where was that? San Antonio?
San Antonio.
Do you go on the Riverwalk?
It's somewhere down. That's how there's a lot of in it. So,
hey, speaking of San Antonio, that was a great hockey town back in the day.
Really?
I forget who their affiliate was, but I think if you got sent down, you get sent down to San Antonio. Guys loved it there. So
I bet they did.
Yeah,
I bet
there was
Charles
a time when teams were leery of putting their affiliates in really nice cities or locations because they didn't want the minor leaguers too comfortable. And that is a absolute true statement.
Yeah.
If you take a look, some of the NHL cities, you'd say the same thing about that.
That guys are too comfortable?
Yeah, wouldn't want put your teams in nice cities because they'd get too comfortable. We're gonna put it in Winnipeg and Edmonton.
Easy with Winnipeg. I love my Winnipeg.
I love it for about
That's true,
2 weeks
though.
at a time.
You do make a good point of players getting comfortable. So
because you wouldn't want people comfortable. That'd be horrible. And
no,
people would just.
That's all changed now, though, right? Now we're all about comfort and making sure everyone's in their space. They're in a good spot. But San Antonio, I can't remember who their affiliate was, and I want to say it was somewhere cold. But I don't know if it was Chicago. That was Indianapolis for a while.
St. Louis?
I don't think so. But it was like, hey, we're sending you down to San Antonio. And some of those guys, I'd have to look and see who San Antonio was affiliated with back then. But then Houston came in the league, the Arrows, and I forget who their farm team or their top team was, but Houston was an awesome place in the minors to play.
Houston was Minnesota.
There you go. So, I mean, if you're going to get sent down from the NHL, Houston or San Antonio, these places are not too bad to go. But a majority of the people that back when I played, and they're still up in these cities, we were in places like Albany, our capital district, Albany, New York, Glens Falls, Adirondack, Utica, Binghamton, right? So the travel was good. But, now these guys are in
Is that what they were trying to do?
cities.
Were they trying to keep them uncomfortable, or were they trying to make it so they wouldn't be much travel?
I think a little bit of both. But here was the problem. You would have like Vancouver. Remember, the Canucks had their farm team in Syracuse. Well, how are you going to call someone up? When I was in Edmonton for my cup of coffee, I got called up. We were in Cape Breton. I got on an airplane at 5 a.m. in Sydney, Nova Scotia, bounced down to Halifax, and then somehow found my way out to Calgary. And so,
which was weird because you were with Edmonton.
Yeah, and exactly. And so they were there that night or the next night, I can't remember. But now, like you think, look at these teams. You've got Ontario practices in the same California. Ontario practices in the same building as the Kings. San Jose does that. Vegas has got their team just across town.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg's in the same building.
Calgary.
Vancouver, Calgary.
Anaheim, San Diego.
Yeah, you're right there. And so we're just thinking about out west.
Toronto.
And then Colorado, Denver's got their farm team just outside of Denver too. So
Toronto, Montreal.
I think it's awesome. I think it's the way it should be. Now you look at a team like Edmonton. Edmonton's in Bakersfield, or are they in Fresno? Yeah, in
Bakersfield.
And then Seattle has got their team in Palm Springs. Imagine playing hockey in Palm Springs.
San Antonio Rampage were affiliates of Florida, Phoenix, Colorado, and St. Louis.
Okay, so
that's the Rampage. This since 2002.
Would that mean they were struggling to sell tickets because they were moving to so many different teams?
No, affiliates bounce around all the time.
They do. I was in Fort Wayne this weekend, and they've had a team.
Oh, the Comets.
For 72 years or something like that. They've had
one of the great logos,
isn't it? Yeah. I love their unis. Kind of a Philadelphia Flyer twist, but you know what? They're very simple. The orange and the black trim and the white jerseys, awesome. And
Bruce
you're right.
Boudreau's son won a Kelly Cup, I believe, a couple of years ago, coaching that team.
They're the East Coast League now, right?
Yeah, ECHL. The commissioner I talked to the commissioner one time because the backstory was the team in Colorado won the before they changed leagues, won the Kelly Cup and wouldn't give the trophy back because there's some kind of conflict, wouldn't give the trophy back. And so there was this big debate, but he corrected me a couple of times because I called it the East Coast League. He's like,
what is the EA?
It's just the ECHL.
So
East Coast Hockey League. Hockey League.
It doesn't go by East Coast anymore because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It used to be just on the East Coast.
You brought up St. Louis, and I wanted to touch on that. What do you guys think? We've kind of gone back and forth, but St. Louis signing these two young guys from Edmonton to offer sheets, and then Edmonton didn't match. Broberg and Holloway. If you look around the league, there's not a lot of greasy or fun stuff. I think it's just such a great move by St. Louis because what do they got to lose? They get a couple young guys who only give up a couple draft picks, but you don't see too much of that. And I know people like to get on Vegas, but the cool thing about Vegas is they were always wheeling and dealing. When's the last time there was an offer sheet out there, Millard? Was it Dustin Penner? Kotkaniemi, that's right. Okay, so he went to Carolina, right?
Yeah. Well, that's because the payback for an offer sheet prior to that.
Yeah. So I love
it. It ended up the St. Louis Edmonton thing. They signed Broberg and Holloway to offer sheets. They have to give up a second for Broberg, a third for Holloway, and ends up actually being a trade because they work out a separate transaction for a third and a prospect to go to Edmonton. So Edmonton came back and said, okay, you want those two guys? We won't match if you give us a pick and a prospect. And so it ended up being a little bit bigger deal than just the offer sheet, but it worked out well. It doesn't sound like there was a ton of animosity there.
I don't know.
I kind of hoping for it though, right?
Yeah, well, I was hoping for the Brian Burke, Kevin Lowe meet in a barn somewhere.
Yes.
I kind of thought maybe that at some point, Doug Armstrong, the GM in St. Louis, had a little go set to with Jackson, who's now upper management. Stan Bowman's the GM in Edmonton. I thought there might have been something there, but I think Edmonton was in a tough spot. So Edmonton does get some. They get one prospect back, but they get some draft picks, which I don't know if they really need, other than they can spin them out at the deadline or as the year goes on to pick up a depth piece to help them out because it looks like they're going to need to add on their blue line still. But I really like that move by St. Louis. There's not a lot been going on. A lot of guys have been going out the door in St. Louis since they won the cup. I love it. And all of a sudden, who saw that lightning bolt coming? When was that? August 15th, middle of the summer. and all of a
The
sudden, boom.
the transaction actually does alleviate the pressure on Edmonton because they were in a really challenging position to re-sign those two players and still be able to activate Evander Kane when he comes up. And it was challenging for Edmonton to be able to come to terms with the two restricted free agents. So it gave them an avenue to go down that path, and it helped St. Louis. Now, those weren't two full-time NHLers last year. They're hoping they will be this year, but those two players have to capitalize and continue to grow for it to be a real success for St. Louis.
So
Right.
you don't think Armstrong woke up and chose violence that day? You just think he just chose, hey, he just said, hey, let's, I think we can pull this off.
I think he targeted it. It's a great strategy with his staff to be able to look at a team that's in a vulnerable position.
Yeah, because
And
they are, right? They're
and
a
get
deer
players
drinking
for-
water at a river with an alligator.
cost him a second and a third. He had to go back and reacquire his second from Boston, and put that back into place because you can only give up your own picks. They had previously traded away, so he had to put in the work, and along with the strategy of it. And I think Broberg's going to be a really good player, and hopefully Holloway can continue his development.
Well, exactly. I think Broberg kind of showed flashes of what he's capable of in the playoffs last year. Never really got a really full-time gig until the Western Conference Finals and the finals last year in Edmonton. And what sample size there is, it was very impressive. Holloway is a young guy that can fly. I just really like it for St. Louis, and I'll take somebody like that over a draft pick. These two guys are way more known quantities. They're still very young, and now they're ceiling. Broberg's going to play. Holloway's going to play. Question is how far up in the lineup can Holloway play in St. Louis? And can Broberg give you 15 to 20 minutes a night as a young defenseman in St. Louis? And if he can, it's a home run. And you're right, it gives Edmonton some room. I have a question about, so it sounds like Kane might or might not have surgery in Edmonton. I just kind of wonder, you see this once in a while around the league where
Sports
guys,
hernia.
Okay, so I guess are they just waiting to see, like, are these, because if he would have had the surgery at the end of the season, he would have been in a position to be probably available during up close, to the start of the season or sometime early in the season. But now it's kind of like they're talking about putting him in an LTIR, and you lose him for a substantial amount of time if you wait. So I guess I'm guessing it's up to the player, but you see this from time to time, and it seems like the summertime was a time to kind of go, okay, what are we going to do here? And they still seem to be haven't come to an agreement or a decision.
I'm with you. The idea of having the surgery earlier, the procedure earlier, would have alleviated all challenges to him being ready for the start of the season. Or
nothing comes
much,
easy with him, though. He's never going to make a nice, smooth decision.
But
that young
the
fellow.
LTI, you bring up LTIR. If they have the cap room just to have him on the roster, they can accrue cap space throughout the year. If they put them on LTIR, they don't accrue. Every day that you're under the limit, you can accrue cap space, which you can use to add a player at the trade deadline. If you put them on LTIR, you don't accrue that. So what they wanted to do was, even if he wasn't ready and healthy enough to play, to be below the salary cap to fit him in and be able to get dollars back and be in a position to be able to strengthen their team at the trade deadline. That was a big bonus for making this trade.
Well, they gave themselves some flexibility. They tried to plug the holes, like they signed Paul Colson from Vancouver or traded for him. So, if he hits his stride, he's a fill-in for Holloway. And then you got Emberson from San Jose in the deal for Cody Ceci, young D, right-handed shot. So maybe they're hoping they can plug him in, because the kid played 30 games in San Jose last year and was a plus player, I think, which I don't know how he did that.
In San Jose, how did he do that?
Yeah, I don't know how he did that, but so
pencil and eraser.
Pencil and eraser.
That's right.
That's terrible.
the cupboards
jumped
are
over the
certainly
boards.
not-
Jumped over the boards every time they got the puck.
Or when
If I could
it's
tell
a
you
3-on-2 change.
the story that I got from Colin Patterson. I don't remember him, played for the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, we
back in
know
the day.
Colin Patterson. Yeah.
One of the great guys. I did a couple of alumni trips to Afghanistan with Colin Patterson. Just a fabulous
What team was there?
being. And so we did ball hockey to visit the troops during the war.
Awesome.
I was just the MC, and Colin told me a story about plus minus and how they used to manipulate it. Was if you were on the ice for a goal, you made sure that when you went in for the hug, you kind of turned around so you were facing the press box, so everybody got to see your number up there. But if you're on the ice for a goal against, you would slide along the boards, so it was harder for whoever was keeping the stats in the press box in the 80s to write down the number. And sometimes they would just guess, so you would avoid a dash every now and then. You might avoid a dash 2 times out of 8. And it was a legitimate strategy. He laughed about it, but there was an element of truth there.
Guy Crab walks back to the bench so
Yes,
you can't see his
yeah.
numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just
That's
got to
awesome.
skate into the screen really quick with your crest,
Yeah.
arms behind your back so they can't see your number.
And there
on
wasn't
your
8 stats people like there are now from the league that are sitting up there.
Right.
You watch stats
and
now, and pay attention to this. You watch a game, Vegas against LA, and in November, we'll go to commercial, and Dave Gosher will say it's 1-1. Shots were 13-10 in favor of the Golden Knights. We'll come back 2 minutes later. Millard will come, and I'll start and say it's 1-1. The shots are 11-9 in favor of the Golden Knights. They'll change them as they go along during the intermission. It always changes. So there's people up there bouncing back. Was that a shot? Was that not a shot? Let's take another look at it.
Is that because of the gambling?
I think a little bit. I think
Yeah,
there has to be some type of influence there.
Right.
But those
there might
stats do change. And as we've all heard of players going to the manager and saying, I got a point there. Can you look into it? And there is lobbying to the league regarding whether or not you get an assist or you really did score a goal. That's a little bit less because it's a little sensitive with teammates. But people do lobby for second assists, rightfully so, because of how much money
Bonuses
is to the individual players. But some of these other stats, I think, is because of the wagering that takes place now.
Yeah.
Well,
it's only going to get bigger because these casinos have really gone, head first into this, and every commercial during a football game or a hockey game is, on baseball.
Well,
it's all about
Canada.
golf.
It's nonstop.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too how they try and sell it. Like I know during the Canuck games, they're like, hey, know your limit, play within it, and all your proceeds go to supporting our schools and our hospitals. Yeah, I think that's great, but let's not forget how that money's getting raised, right? I guess it's no different than buying a lottery ticket, right? People do that all the time, but I don't think we should mask, like gambling. Obviously, everybody likes to do it once in a while, but it can be a real problem. And ruin your life. So don't try and tell me that it's going to the schools and the hospitals when someone's peeling off every last dollar they have to bet on the over under for the third period for the Canucks and Calgary or some other NHL team, right? So I get it. It drives a lot of revenue in the league, but it's a slippery slope, boy.
Know your limit and get to it. That's
Lord
what I
Bagg.
should say. Yeah.
You know what we've learned today?
What?
Oh boy.
You're hosting it. Why are you all of a sudden worried?
I just, you're just hijacking the podcast again with you writing your notes down. You're getting this.
That's
is
funny.
like
I was
the start
watching
of
him
the
write notes.
season
I'm like,
for you.
what's going on?
Yeah,
I do.
exactly.
This show doesn't have
We've
notes.
learned that
What's
you
going
host
on?
the podcast. You host Orange Slices with Fun Sponge.
Fun Sponge.
Yeah, he soaks up all the fun. He doesn't like drinking or gambling.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Fun
Is there anything else?
Sponge.
Is there anything
I guess
else
we're
you
done.
want to soak
I guess
up?
we're
the
done.
fun?
No, but you know what? Fun Sponge has a great wife, so she helps even it out.
He's calling you Fun Sponge.
No, he's Fun Sponge.
No, you're
No.
Fun Sponge.
Oh, okay. I got one too then.
You got a great wife.
Yeah,
Your
everybody.
wife is the
it's
fun
all
part of
even.
yours. Your wife's the fun part.
How about you? Look at you piling on now.
You called me the Fun Sponge.
I was called Mallard. I thought he was chirping himself. There, I was like, "There's no
Oh,
way."
you
he could
said
ever do
earlier
that.
you didn't want drinking, and then you said you don't want gambling.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't. I said just within reason. I just think it's a little bit of the TV commercials. They're trying to sell you a bill of goods that doesn't really work out for everybody.
I think we should get Lord Bagg hammered doing a show and live wagering in game while
That'd be
he's
fun.
doing a
How
show.
many F-bombs
Oh
he
my God,
throws. That would
yeah.
be great.
Oh, that over under of what?
I watched Lord Bagg do a show. You invited me along, Sharples, for a corporate event a couple of weeks ago, and he took down everybody in the room. And after the show, they were lined up to hug him and get their picture taken with him. And all he did was rip them apart from the CEO right on down.
Yeah.
And if I try that, everybody hates me. For some reason, they're lined up to hug Lord Bagg.
I do it in a nice way. I don't do it in a way like I've got a twin that doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
Fraternal.
It was, you know what? I hate doing those things. First of all, let's look at the room. Let's go back and talk about the room, how it was set up, right? So there's a stage.
Allegiant Stadium.
Okay. Yeah. So, and
Exactly.
14 people, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they got 6 tables, and then Jeff what was great about Jeff he was my MC. He brought them all together from the back of the room, and they sat down, but they were fun. Like, I had no idea that the people that picked me to do that gig actually watched what I did and wanted me to do that, and they wanted me to have fun with their employees. I don't feel like I went far with them though. I walked the line a couple times, but I didn't push them. We had fun.
You know what I appreciated, and I don't know whether it was strategic by you or dumb luck, but you went after the president or the CFO or whatever, the big boss, right away. And I think that put everybody at ease.
That was luck that he was standing where he was, but I would have found him, but he was right beside the stage and talking to 2 women. And,
with his back to you.
Yeah, with his back to
you talked to him for 20 minutes before he even noticed.
Yeah. But I would have found him. That would have been the first person I went to. It's funny because there's the person that sets up the party, then Michelle, and the people that it's their event, right? So there's a couple different layers.
Michelle
and they're
books
all
you, right?
Yeah. Well, Michelle finds me through this lady that's looking for something, right? So, but they're all concerned. They're all like, we need you to have the name of the company, right? They wanted all these things. I'm like, no. They're looking at me like, just, what are you doing? You're going to ruin this whole thing. I'm like,
oh, so they give you, but you're not a speaker. You're a comedian.
But I explained it to her after they wanted to talk to me at the end, because they wanted to know how I did it. And the way I did it is, they don't want me going up there and telling them, like the people that are in the event, they don't want me going up there and telling them about them. So what I do is I get a couple things wrong and have them tell me about what they do. So they feel like they're having, like they're kind of getting their, chest pumped up a little bit. And then I just let out a little bit of the air when I'm playing with them.
So give me an example of that, where you purposely.
With Coxie, the CEO or whatever he is right away. Like, I knew the company, but I wasn't going to say it right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and then I knew what they did, but I wanted him to tell me what they did. And then I was able to say, oh, you're just taking old ladies' houses from them.
Right.
What's it? Proctor Loan Protector, right?
Proctor Loan Protector.
ELP. Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
My
Warriors.
favorite is when Ian looked at their logo and he's like, "What's this?" And they're like, "What colors are these?" And one of them says, "Mint."
Mint.
Mint.
And what it's like, what do you do? I'm marketing, otherwise known as the the CEO's niece.
So you have a script in your head, a loose script,
I have a loose. I kind of have some
or
I have some road. I have some
lineup.
road.
Okay,
I have some
map.
road like a road maps of towns that I need to get to.
Okay.
So I've got 3 days and I got to hit this many towns, kind of thing in my head. That's how I.
Because it looked like you were just purely ad-libbing that. And
That
it was
was
brilliant. Like it was.
I didn't know.
So it was the best I've ever seen you.
Oh,
Oh,
and then we blew
Yeah.
a tire.
Yeah.
yeah, and then reality happened.
And then,
and then
I was brought back to earth. Right on
I
to
think some
Southwest.
people were, I don't know, like the room was so spread out. So people were, well, why didn't they put the chairs together? That's the first thing I asked when I got in there, and I just got chewed out. I'm like, you don't say anything. I'm like, we could have brought everybody within like 10 feet of Ian, but they were spread out.
They were
it was
so
still
far.
COVID.
I said the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing to Sharples, and he said, "Don't bring that up. I already got chewed out about that."
Oh my god!
They-
Who chewed
they
you
were
out, Michelle?
Yeah, and then the DMC, the planner, they set it up to whatever way they set it up. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well, here's an idea. Why don't we bring everyone a little closer?
It was the biggest room I've ever seen for the fewest people.
We could have turned a
What do you think? There's
747 around
120
in there.
people. There was 120 people in that room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Like fun
probably
people, but-
fat 5,000. Fit fat.
Yeah, exactly.
Fat,
Like that was-
fat.
Fat 5,000. Like
We could have
skinny
played
10,000.
a legitimate indoor soccer game in there.
2.
And some pickleball courts. So
You guys pickleball it?
But honestly,
yeah.
corporates are never that fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never that fun. Once in a while, I remember I did one for them and they had me do it for the roofers convention, right? And they told me you are not to swear, right?
Roofers
Right.
always swear. That's
That one right on stage, and I said, "Look, I'm not allowed to swear here, but I want to know why you guys said fuck every second word when you're on my roof."
Yes. Yeah, totally. Did they laugh?
They laughed and everything calmed down right away. And so I was able to swear a little bit, So and they're like, "No, you can swear, have fun." So but
Was it the
every so
organizer
often
that said, "I don't want you to swear"?
probably somebody.
Was it
somebody,
Sharples?
It was
You
it was
did no
Jeff.
drinking, no gambling, no swearing.
Yeah, no foul language. This is G-rated. Everyone can listen.
What's that? What's that at the door? That's a sponge. That's the fun sponge.
Yeah, Mr. Fun.
My wife calls me that, by the way. She goes, "Oh, the fun sponge is
way.
back."
Fun police. That's what
So you're
I get.
trying
Fun
to pass
police.
it on. You know what? That's a good nickname for you. You can't pass that on.
You can't just
All right.
pass
Well,
it on.
hey, I'd love to keep going, but this has been real and it's been fun.
Are we
Well,
done?
we're going to do some
Real
shout
fun.
outs. You want to do
Yeah,
some shout
let's
outs?
do
or
it.
no?
Let's go.
I didn't even think we'd actually started yet.
We're about to ask questions in a second.
You guys are me.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of appointments. I'm trying to redo my backyard, set it up so it's functional. Give me an idea.
Punctual.
Give me an idea of something that I can do to my backyard because there's a pool back there and that's about it. There's a little covered thing off the house, a patio, but I have nothing back there that makes it fun or enjoyable or functional. What do I need?
You need to make that little cover thing a little bit bigger and then put put is it pergolas?
Pergolas, yes.
So make it a little bit like covered more, right?
Yeah.
And then you need to put like some so you can watch the game outside. You need
The
to have
TV.
some sort. Yeah, but you got to put that in pergola. But you also need to have like a little bit of a small kitchen. I don't know how much I'm spending on you, but in a small kitchen, and then also you need a putting green.
Okay.
Definitely a fridge.
have
Definitely a
the-
fridge out there.
I have the putting green. I talked to a guy yesterday. He was all in
Oh.
for the putting green. And the pergola is something that
How big's your backyard?
wife wants. Not very big at all.
Oh, I was going to say put in a wiffle
I have to
ball.
go inside to change my mind. It's so small.
That's funny.
Yeah, but you know the great thing is you put your putting green out there, and the dogs will be like, "That's a great place for us to go to the bathroom." Thanks, Dad. Yep.
Fun
Hey,
sponge.
here's a little.
Look at the fun sponge. He just
Yeah,
he just
I'm
ruined my
just
putting.
helping you.
He just
I'm just
took out my
helping you.
putting green.
Yeah, I just took you down.
Within seconds. I'm going to get a
I'm
putting
like-
green. The dogs are going to shit on it.
You said it. It's going to happen. Here's what I'm going to say.
And if the dogs don't do it, I will.
I will.
Hey, Lord Bagg's in fantasy land with all this stuff you're going to put in. So go for it. But I'll tell you one thing.
I've spent
right now.
$100,000 so far. Hey, I'm just going to change something. I'm like, I.
At our kitchen.
You got to make sure that if you trees or anything like
At
that.
a drone show, you should put a
Oh,
drone
yeah,
show.
you
out
should
there.
put lights up there. Be careful where you put your trees, Millard, because you don't want them ripping up your pool stuff, and you don't want the leaves constantly going into your pool. So if you're going to put any trees out there, put them away from your pool and on the windward side, or I guess the lee side.
Yeah,
Oh,
so it gives-
because the
it gives you
roots
some
roots
information.
will.
Yeah, you know what? Then you'll be cleaning leaves out of your pool 24/7, and do not put a pine tree back there because you'll
No.
rue that day.
And ask him about trimming your own trees.
Ask
Go
me?
ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Jeff. Tell us about the story about you trimming your own trees and coming down the side of the ladder very quickly.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We've covered a lot of ground today, but this is my. I might even use this as my shout out. But do not, if you're getting up on a ladder, you better think twice about it. I'm up there. I've put it up against a palm tree, and I'm just I'm not even on the top rung. I'm like only a couple up. I'm like, I got it up there and I'm clipping. And the next thing the thing starts going, and I put my hands on the rails as I came down, wham, straight down. And the shears ended up in the pool. My phone ended up in the pool. I was bleeding.
Like you didn't cut off a finger.
Yeah, I was. And I was bleeding like you wouldn't believe, because one of the palm
could have
fronds
stabbed
got my
himself
finger.
with those shears.
Oh, it could have been brutal. And I thought I was all set up for it. I thought I was all safety first. Like one of the kids came over from school, like, nothing to see here, just bleeding a little bit. Half my fingers off. I'm like, so note to self, you don't want to have anything. You got to get up on a ladder in the backyard and trim. They call that a young person's game, and there's a reason for it. There's a reason young people get in ladders and older don't. So
any ideas for other than my trees that are already
just
out
be
there?
careful where you put them. Yeah, I mean, unless you already got them out there. And then, do you have a hot tub?
Yeah.
That goes into your pool?
What are you, a porn star?
Okay, like no, oh yeah, like he's filming. Put a rock.
I sent Sharples pictures from the hot tub.
Oh,
He doesn't appreciate them.
That's
So Jen will say every now and then I'll be out for a swim. She'll go, "Can you send Sharples a picture? I like it when he gets all riled up."
I never said anything about it. I'm like, I need more in the picture than that. But yeah, I got random pictures for a guy that doesn't drink. I get random pictures at the oddest time. I'm like, 10:30 at night, and I'm getting a picture of him in his hot tub. So maybe it's you should start drinking.
I also think lighting's a huge thing. Yeah. Like there's so many new ways to do lights. Like I would really investigate the lighting.
You've been a lot more helpful than the fun sponge, who's just crapped on everything.
Well, just mostly your putting green.
Hey, you know what?
Doing his impressions of your dogs.
Hey, you can get lights. A friend of ours, we were over dinner the other night, and they're kind of like, they changed, you put them, and so you can't really see them underneath your house, but when you turn them on, you can have multiple colors, so you don't have to ever put Christmas lights back up again. You can turn them white. Yeah, they're really cool. So
I like the backyard lights that hang, like kind of the string of lights that hang, that, you know what I mean?
But that's tough in the wind.
Oh, you guys do get a lot of wind, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you get wind?
No, ours is.
No, he lives on the ocean.
I live in California.
He doesn't
We're
get
perfect.
any wind. Yeah. There's no wind where he is.
Over there.
I just ignore it. I just calm it down. Calm it down, everybody. Calm it down.
From a shout out point of view, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm not going to mention the company, but we took my wife's car in because the oil pressure pump or something was having an issue.
Oh, we could have changed that.
Yeah, you guys could have totally done it. This is me taking my car to you guys. the oil change pump. So they fixed that, charged us out the yin yang. I asked the guy, can he waive the code fee when you go in and get the diagnostic? And he's like, what do you think that is? I'm like, well, you plug in a machine and it tells you what the problem is.
Seen it on TikTok, buddy.
Yeah. And he's like, there's more to it than that, man. And they smiled at me. So right there, he was off my. They put the wrong plug in, so it leaked oil all over my garage when I picked it up. And then today, the engine light's on. 4 straight days I've been to this place. I'm not happy.
Yeah, you can let us know where it is so we can.
Well, the problem is they're one of the sponsors.
I'm sour with them.
I can't wait until you're reading all winter long. You have to read the promo coming out of the commercial break.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I hope they're the sponsor of the intermission.
They're not a sponsor, are they?
They're not a
swear.
sponsor right now.
Oh my gosh, I would love it. We're gonna find out. I'm
Right
gonna find
now.
out who it is. I'm gonna go over there and go, hey, I'll pay for it if you'll sponsor the intermission, just so Millard has to read it.
That's so funny.
So, yeah.
That's
just
venting. That was
just
me
that,
venting.
just gritting his teeth and smiling.
Yeah. Take your car
Jason's-
here. It's great.
Yeah.
You'll get to see this. You get to know the staff because you'll be there every day.
You should just sell your car. Forget about your backyard. Get a new
My
car.
wife wants to do that. She wants to sell her car now. Like,
I don't blame her. What kind of car is it?
Mini Cooper.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, get rid of that.
Get rid
Oh
of
my
it.
God. Oh my God.
You're
Just
calling
get a-
people names. And
just
you're
get a
talking about
Cooper.
a Mini Cooper. Come on.
What is
Lord
she in a
Bagg.
is she in a road rally that we're not aware of?
I'm gonna ask her from you about that.
She's
That's
she's
one of
headed
the
off to
funniest
Europe.
things you said.
Oh man.
That's good.
I thought it's pretty funny. That's funny. It's,
That is good.
What do you got, Jeff? You got a shout out? By the way, we
Wait, what-
usually say nice things for our shout out.
I know. I went reverse.
You call us fun sponges, and then you come in and just like, we're
Well,
gonna do shout outs.
Sharples got me all up and bothered.
Eeyore all fired up today, getting on here, spending an hour and a half of everybody's time chirping. I'm gonna thank our guy from the AAA that came. He was off work, and Lord Bagg found him. And without him, we would have probably still been at the Boot Barn at Warm Springs in Las Vegas Boulevard in Las Vegas.
If you need
Nevada.
heroin,
Did you guys buy boots?
What? Oh, that Boot Barn's awesome. You come to Vegas, a lot of people go to Boot Barn, and it's
Don't
been
go
there
after
since
8.
the 90s.
don't go
Yeah.
after 8.
There's a lot going on over there, and they got a police car parked over there. And I it's like for visibility, but I don't really think it deters anybody.
The criminals have
Yeah.
figured out there's nobody in the cop car. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way.
that they're using it to kind of.
Did you actually buy boots?
I don't
No.
know, but I used to. I've been in that Boot Barn. That's a new one, but yeah,
Jeff used
So
to love a good
anyways.
heel in his shoe.
yeah. I don't wear them anymore, but that's it. I can't, and I feel bad. I knew his name
Did
2
you tip
weeks
the
ago. I
guy?
can't remember. Oh yeah, we took care of him.
Which took
He's
good
like,
care of him.
no, we don't want anything. I
And
said,
then
"No,
he
we're
took.
ta-
Then he took Jeff down.
yeah.
You guys twins.
Are you guys twins?
Hey, we should call this "Enjoying the Twins," which
That's
I think
right. Twin slices. By the way, I on my shout out, I'm moving into my shout. I had a group of guys come the Fort Wayne Crowns, which is an adult hockey league team. They all there were 6 of them. I think there were 6 of them. They wore their jerseys. They follow the podcast. They came to the show on Saturday night. Just fun guys, love hockey. Asked me, hey, can we buy some enjoying orange slices t-shirts? So I got some shirts hooked up for them. I'm not going to charge them. I'm just going to send them to them if anybody from the tax
that's nice of
company.
you.
And then the night before, somebody came that listens to the show, and they brought a package of the candied orange slices. They're like, listen to the podcast. Thanks for just making it fun for us. So I didn't get any names. I apologize to the guys, but people are listening and coming out to shows, and a lot of people. I love Jeffy. I love the way he responds to your humor, is what they say.
your humor. I've been having to respond to it since we were kids.
He just
You're
doesn't. He
twins.
doesn't respond at all.
You guys were womb mates.
Boom.
Yeah,
We're
hey,
twins.
Hey, talking about Fort Wayne, never nervous. John Purvis played with him in Utah. Was Fort Wayne for the people from Fort Wayne. John Purvis played there. Was a hell of a player for the Comets. So there's a little tie-in. I don't know if those guys remember him when he was there. Yep, great player.
Cool.
Like
I love it.
You're like a good comedian. You tie it all in.
Yeah. Yeah, I tie it all in. And then also my second shout out is I had so much fun when I came to Vegas hanging with you guys. And it was just a fun time. And I think we should not do a show, but hang soon because
I would love that.
It's just a lot of fun.
That was my wife's first day of work as a teacher, and so she was tired. So we couldn't stay out late.
I couldn't believe she came along anyways.
I couldn't believe it either. And she loves you. She does legitimately love you, and she would not have tolerated the flat tire very well. So it's probably a good thing, especially you two looking at the owner's manual.
The heat. It was so hot.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
it was so hot. And I'm just like, we're gonna do what? Change a tire? Oh my fucking god!
Was it all the way flat too?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it went off like a cannon. We thought we.
What would you have hit that would have popped one of those?
What?
What popped one of those? Like
piece of steel, right? Some
shrapnel or something on the road. Like and it's funny. I've had 2 flat tires in Vegas in that truck. One of them going west on I-215 and the 15 interchange. And then one going east coming off, which was the other night with Lord Bagg, almost identical places just across the road from each other. And I tell you one thing, you don't want to have a flat tire. Like we were able to get off the road and get to the boot barn, but you don't want to have a flat tire anywhere on any of America's freeways. Because if you think traffic moves pretty fast, just wait till you're sitting there.
I'm phoning somebody on that, in that regard.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy that you are right. It's crazy on those tires. There's so much rubber on those tires. You're like, what can get through that, right?
Yeah.
So, but we all thought we ran over somebody. That's how loud it was when it went off. We're just like, oh, this isn't going to be good. we're all look. I thought somebody had jumped off and landed in the back of the truck. That's how hard it was.
So, that's good.
So, all right. On that uplifting note.
On that note, hey, I didn't even get to bring up, Jeff. I wanted to bring this up. I got to bring this up. I know we're trying to leave. I was on a flight from Fort Wayne to Chicago, and there was no air. The air had broken, and they were going to get it fixed in Chicago. How great was that?
You mean no air to start the airplane? Like you didn't have
no air, no air inside the cabin. It was so hot.
The whole flight?
What?
Oh yeah, wow. An hour flight. It was unbelievable.
Is it not cooler up in altitude?
No, everybody breathing on each other.
Well, just roll down the windows a little bit.
Jeff has had enough.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you on that one. I thought maybe sometimes you don't get air on the ground, and they have to, there's a little motor pumps air into the engines to start them, and if that's inoperative, then that's what I thought. But I didn't realize you didn't have any air. So you must have been like 4,000, 3,000 feet flying to Chicago. Yeah. I haven't heard of that one.
So somebody behind me said, we're only going to 4,000 feet.
Wow. Then they didn't have only 4,000.
You went 4,000 feet?
Yeah, 4,000 feet.
Well, you can do it in the Midwest, but you can't do it.
You could have yelled at people on the ground. Did you give any shout outs to people? Like, hey,
I didn't even think about it. That's why they only went to 4,000 feet is because they didn't. Huh.
Well, it sounds like they had some issues that they got fixed in Chicago, but they were able to make a revenue flight out of it.
He said that we're getting them fixed in Chicago, and of course,
revenue. Come on,
is that not something that's a little concerning? Hey, we're gonna try this, but when you get off, we're gonna fix it.
Yeah,
I can only
you're
imagine.
Not that important, but the next flight is.
Oh, I feel bad for those pilots and stuff. They would have had to go through up front to make sure everything was okay. They were like unpressurized flight. Oh, right on. All right. I gotta go.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, you guys and your fun, enough.
No, just take it away.
Right to the end.
Right.
Love talk.
Thanks, guys.